RPGaDay 2026, Day 21. Amalgam, as the Golem styled itself, was nervous. It had been pressured from the city that it still thought of as its home and been parted from its longtime partner. It had felt lost as it traveled into the hills as well as lonely, at least until it was eaten and promptly regurgitated by Digger. It had earned the giant worm's loyalty by nursing it back to health. Surely this was preordained. With Digger, the star could be retrieved and its emanations secured. Perhaps Amalgam would become even stronger, but Digger would not get close enough. For now, Amalgam stayed close, refashioning the ruins of the village of Valeford into a home for itself and its allies, staying close to the source of its awakening. There was much tension in Valeford. The wolves often stalked the merchants, seemingly waiting for the guards to lose focus. The pack leader claimed it was all a form of fun, no real danger, as long as more shinies were forthcoming. Amalgam wasn't sure, but the pack helped contain the Hydra when it tried to run amok, and the merchants assured it that they could find the knowledge needed to harness the star, so Amalgam continued to intervene in potential conflicts. Still, its attention wandered elsewhere. It wondered if it would ever be able to reunite with its fellow guardian. The stone golem, Geas, had been with it since they were first animated, and then for a time after their awakening. Geas was lured away by promises of respect. Amalgam had learned that it was serving as a protector of a small hamlet under a powerful entity. Amalgam had successfully bribed a group of adventurers to infiltrate that entity's organization. Amalgam suspected the adventurers had their own interests, but as long as they helped it reunite with its partner, it would be prepared to march to their support. Let them take what they wished afterwards. In the meantime, it would continue to build its own alliances and seek to increase its own power. So the awakened Iron Golem has obtained its own group of followers, and it's done this without the bewitching and charming gaze of a vampire or the inherent power of a beholder or an other planar being, or even treasure of its own, because iron golems don't have treasure. They may guard someone else's treasure, but they don't have treasure of their own. Has managed to put together its own coalition. No doubt they have their own desires, and perhaps they look to make the iron golem do the dirty work of perhaps finding a way to acquire the star's power and then stealing it for themselves. Perhaps the werewolves are simply amused by this notion of an iron golem with a mind of its own, which surely would create its own kind of chaos in the world when it's found, which is to their nature as chaotic evil beings. The merchants no doubt see gold coin everywhere they look, and undoubtedly the golem, having the loyalty of two very powerful beasts behind it, serves as a source of awe and perhaps a little restraint on the other members of its faction from jumping ship at the first opportunity or seeking to backstab as soon as possible. Of course, of all the factions, the Iron Golem has probably the most intense interest in the power of the stars, since it is connected to that power. And it could be that without that power, it goes back to what it was, simply a magically animated object at the whim of others to use. And no wonder it seeks to recover the only one of its own kind it's known. Why is the stone golem more easily a follower than a leader? Perhaps the iron golem has an empty head that was filled with intelligence and star power, and the stone golem's head is still full of rocks. Who's to say? Well, I suppose I could, but that could also perhaps make a useful table to roll upon in an adventure set in this setting to randomize things a little more. How smart is that stone golem? So this faction may be a little more whimsical than some of the others, but it could also be the one to be most enhanced if the star's power were laid at its feet.